by this account, and we're calling these pyramid wars, it almost confirms the existence that the pyramids were built way before the mainstream theory right now, or the mainstream story.
Welcome to the Greypilledpodcast.
Like, the people on the ground have to be like, oh shit, the gods are fighting again.
Yeah.
Like, take cover. There's missiles in the sky.
Exploring the depths.
You would almost call it these days, like, imagine a science fiction movie with a Star Wars defense shield around the ship.
Beyond what is retail conspiracies, esoteric knowledge so enthralling.
Wow. There's a lot of pages on it, bro. In Second Pyramid War. Here we go. Oh, wow, dude. This is crazy. Look, it gives a depiction of, like,
Open up your mind, let's dive into the sprawling.
the divine formulas for lordship and kingship, for priesthood and scribeship, for love, dressing, and for warring, Enki Inanna Enki to hold gave, for music and singing, thanks Enki.
Oh yeah.
Holding her prizes tightly, Inanna from the slumbering Enki slipped away. To her boat of heaven she rushed out, to soar away her pilot she instructed.
Greypiled awaken, question what you know.
A sacred city of his own in the Eden from Enlil he forthwith demanded. Oh shit, Adrian, here we go. I didn't even know we were going to get into this.
Welcome to the Greypilledpodcast, where truth's unveiled, exploring the depths beyond what is retail conspiracies, esoteric knowledge so enthralling. Open up your mind, let's dive into the sprawling. Oh yeah. Greypiled awaken, question what you know. Peeling back the layers, let your curiosity grow. Uncover hidden realities, break the mold. Come take the journey, let your mind unfold.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Greypilledpodcast. Another episode of ELOHIM etymologies. We've been having some technical difficulties, or some matrix attacks, perhaps.
That's what it is.
Here with my co-host, Adrian West. Adrian,
What's happening, man?
what's up, man?
We finally made it through the thick and thin. Ready to rock, ready to roll.
Yeah, man. It's been a couple weeks, guys. We're doing a part 2 on Marduk, so this is gonna be another banger. If y'all haven't, y'all go watch all our past episodes. First one on Anu, second on Enlil. We did 4 on Enki, and then our last one, part 1 on Marduk. Y'all go check those out on all my platforms. I'm on Rumble, YouTube, Spotify, Bitchute, and I'm on Apple Podcasts now. So we're reaching even further out there, man. Yeah, y'all go get Adrian's book as well. I'm going to go ahead and throw it in there. Pantheon Won the Golden Veins, guys. It's a great book. And, dude, I've been grifting it a lot lately. So you're expect to get some more sales.
Thank you, brother.
I'm hoping, yeah, man.
Means a lot. I've seen some boost since this show started.
Yeah,
So it does mean a lot.
You doing this show with me, dude. You know, this has become a passion of mine. This research and looking into this ancient past that not a lot of people know about. It's almost forgotten, you know, other than a small group of people, us conspiracy theorists. And
It's like Graham Hancock said, or whoever first said it, we're a species with amnesia.
yeah,
So
yeah, man, I think that's Graham Hancock. But
Yeah.
somebody may have said it before him. Yeah.
we'll assign it to Graham for now. Shout out to Graham Hancock. He signed one of my books. I bought War God from him years ago, and he signed it for me.
Really?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Wild. To Adrian, magic and mystery and all things, Graham Hancock.
Sweet, dude.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's when I was like,
I haven't even heard of that book. I don't think.
it's fiction, but based in historical foundations, like in the Mayan, Mesoamerican cultures. it's very accurate as far as like their lifestyles and practices and kind of religious traditions, but the story itself is fictitious.
Okay. I'll have to check it out. I'm sure I can find the PDF somewhere.
Yeah, in this day and age.
So we left off last time. I don't think anywhere specific. I think we were kind of just diving into things at the end. But we had basically talked about Marduk's early life, his names, and all these other pantheons, his children. We expanded on the Ajiji a little bit more. Yeah, we're not
Right.
talking about those guys.
Never will be.
Like I said, I think that carries on into today. Like we are the Ajiji.
The new Gigi. New Gigi. Whoa. We definitely discussed Marduk and his sort of beef and jealousy of Dumuzi and just his overall penchant for rule, power, and control. And if everyone should know by now, the tension between the Enki clan and the Enlil clan. So Marduk is the son of Enki and is promised a lot, but granted little, so to speak. And Dumuzi is the first recorded famous Anunnaki death on Earth. He was a royal, so it was a huge deal. Shortly after his death, it was found, and this is probably not in the Lost Book of Enki to my knowledge, but correct me if I'm wrong. It's certainly in the Pantheon series in one of the next installments. But Marduk, it was determined that Dumuzi fell off the cliff ledge and died because of a pursuer. Therefore, it wasn't technically Marduk who could be held accountable for murder when it was a pursuer who was the more direct assailant.
Yeah.
So he was exonerated.
Right.
And
You're right. I don't think it talks about that in here.
right on. Well, maybe I'm dropping some Easter eggs. So shortly after this, Anu comes to Earth to kind of evaluate and distribute rule and power and land to people. And like the biggest debate it seemed to be at the time is like, what do we do with Marduk? Like, it's almost like someone that we know of today, right? What do we do of this figurehead who's just out there raging all the time? And there was a new city constructed for him, and permission was granted by Anu to give Marduk Babylon, the new Babylon. And we're talking modern day Iraq.
But this is at the time where the Hebrews lived. And this is where he was known as Bel, and his son was known as Nebo. And you can read that in Isaiah, I think, maybe even some more text. I'll have to.
Nebo or Nebu, he's mentioned in the Sumerian Chronicles. He's mentioned in the Christian Bible. So there's corresponding accounts of him and confirming evidence of him as a real person in these historical events.
That's Nabu.
Yep.
He looks a lot like his father.
You see the resemblance?
And this is him as well. He's a little smaller than his father.
Right. And we'll get to that because we'll talk about Utu Shamash, who's also part of the Marduk story and the full Anunnaki story, but the depictions of Utu specifically and a lot of those first 2 or 3 generations of Anunnaki gods, they're like twice the size of modern humans, almost.
I'd like to think that they'd be like 12 to 14 feet, the younger generation. Gilgamesh, per se. But how tall was he?
I'd say they're all at least 8 feet. That's too safe of an answer, though. That's like, okay, easy. So yeah, with Marduk, in previous shows, on ELOHIM etymology, we discussed the Pyramid Wars, and there's some reports that there are two, but if you count the Osiris, Seth, and Horus saga as one, that being the first Pyramid War, that's kind of how we number it in Pantheon. But when it's Marduk specifically, his first involvement would be the second Pyramid War, approximately in 8670 BC. And that's when, I mean, this is a recurring theme. The Ninurta clan and the tribes of Enlil just rained bombs and terror and missiles at Marduk's cities and his forces. And it's like he was a hellraiser, but they tried to kill him so many times and destroy everything that he owned. And somehow he kept slipping away. Fast forward, 5,000 years, probably 5,500 years, we're on the brink of the third Pyramid War, which is Inanna trying to avenge the death of her lovebird Dumuzi and destroy Marduk again. After he's been granted Babylon, she's recruited Ninurta before this, and in this case, she even recruits Marduk's own brother Nergal for some of these attacks.
That's when I first read this story. I thought Nergal was a son of Enlil because he sided with that clan so much. I mean, he married the granddaughter of him.
Yeah, and maybe he's referred to as my brother, as like my brother in war, or my brother in this mission, or my spiritual brother. But from our research, we lean towards the idea that Nergal is the son of Enki, and have for a while.
Yeah. It would only make sense because, I mean, they married family, but they never really married their direct brothers or sisters, right? They always married their cousin or from the other side most of the time. It was a unification of the bloodlines.
Or half sibling was the golden goose that they're aiming for.
Yeah. But I mean, this was like a unification of these bloodlines, right? Like what we talked about with the Orion and the Sirius sides.
Isn't that a strange paradox that they were warring with each other, yet they were loyal to the idea of keeping the bloodline pure, that they still interbred?
They do that shit today.
Yes.
Yeah. They do it on a world stage.
A tradition as old as time. Yeah.
So you said there were three wars, right?
Right.
3 of the Pyramid Wars. Speaking of pyramids, guys, y'all go to Organite.com and enter promo code GP. Get 10% off your Organite purchase. Beautiful piece of pyramid. Organite.com. That's a state of Oregon-ite.com.
That's pretty.
So the first one was, you said, the Horus Osiris Set
debacle, or saga.
And Setu said, well, it says in the book of Enki, actually, that he was in the same place in Egypt that Shamgaz was, and now I know that Shamgaz, or we know that he is Azza. He was the tutelary angel in ancient Hebrew, I guess, or even Egypt. I mean, they just kind of one and the same. So Set he kind of carried after his father, killing his brother, right? Even though this happened before the Marduk situation with his youngest brother. Correct?
Right. Now, in all these scenarios, like the first Pyramid War with Marduk only happens like 700 years after Osiris and Set and Horus. So by this account, it almost and we're calling these Pyramid Wars, it almost confirms the existence that the pyramids were built way before the mainstream theory right now, or the mainstream story.
Who is this?
Dumuzi.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that one of the only depictions of him?
The others I've seen that are worth,
Not many.
yeah, the others that are worth anything are usually like him cuddled up with Inanna.
Are these all of Dumuzi right here? Or are these?
Check that one.
What's that one?
That's Dumuzi and Inanna. Yeah. So yeah, we have this recurring theme of Marduk being in conflict, warfare with these other gods, these military battles with high-tech weapons. Like the people on the ground have to be like, oh shit, the gods are fighting again.
Yeah.
Like, take cover. There's missiles in the sky. And by the time the third pyramid war rolls around, Ninurta Thoth, who's known for promoting peace and harmony and knowledge and all that, was also this like military wizard, especially when it came to like protection. So him and his team had made this force field around the pyramid, which Marduk was hidden in. So Marduk was like held captive, like they were trying to starve him out, and he's inside the pyramid.
Yeah.
And there's like these forces around it. And while Inanna and Nergal are trying to literally destroy the pyramid, you would almost call it these days, like imagine a science fiction movie with like a Star Wars defense shield around the ship. This is kind of in the same ballpark that we're talking about.
Which pyramid war was this? Because Thoth did bring Horus back to life.
Another recurring, like he's a G, like the healer.
Dad taught him how to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
The healing arts.
Inanna, she try to steal that from Enki?
Oh, the knowledge? Is that what was on the MEs?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Well, it was like the knowledge of everything. So I'm sure that was on it too. This happens after the Pyramid War, the final one. So Sumerian cities are getting rebuilt slowly over time. And then finally, Enki and Inanna hook up. Because,
like, they hook up?
Oh, they hook up. Enki didn't have really his filtration system. I don't know. Maybe he was just a magnet for the goddesses. Who am I to say? But he added her to the list. Let's put it that way.
That body count.
There you go.
Yeah, dude. Well, I didn't want to skip ahead. Did you want to go into any more detail on the first Pyramid War?
We talked about it previously. I
figured we covered most of it.
Yeah.
Y'all check out our last episode. Basically.
Yeah. And it doesn't feature Marduk proper. So
right. And we're here to talk about Marduk. So
yeah.
Second Pyramid War, you said, was Ninurta versus Marduk.
Yeah, so this is after Anu has offered his own city, Babylon, to Marduk. And also around this time, Anu announces the earth would now record time in years, not shars. So kind of a historical event there.
Wow.
Yeah. And
I mean, by that time, most of them are pretty much closer to human than Anunnaki.
right. We're so much closer to nowadays in the story, right? We're only 5,000 years ago compared to 500,000.
Yeah.
Like the DNA has to be so much closer to us for the average Lulu on the floor, on the ground.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Crazy to think about that we may be descended from them. I don't know how to feel about that. So
Just roll with it.
Well, was this the Pyramid War where Marduk was inside of the pyramid, bound inside the pyramid, like it says Azazel was inside of the earth? It threw him in Dudael. I think that's what it's called, and it's in the earth. So maybe that's underneath the pyramid. Chambers to the pyramid that we don't know exist. A lot of people think that halls of Amente may be underneath the pyramid. So that's something to think about, guys.
Yeah. It looks like the electromagnetic protective shield was the second Pyramid War, meaning the first one with Marduk.
Okay, so who was Ninurta in Egypt? Like, what deity was he known as? I wanted to ask that about most of Enlil's sons. I know, Nergal's the son of Enki, but like you said, he sided with Inanna, and then during this war, he is Anubis.
Yes.
And yeah, I mean, I'm not too familiar with the rest of them. I do know that in the mysteries, Set is basically the same as Typhon.
Okay.
Which is represented as the crocodile.
Right.
Yeah.
And Ninurta is commonly depicted as an eagle.
Yeah, and that came from being like the Lord of the Skies, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Supremacy of the air. I'm curious if maybe Ninurta is left out of some of the Egyptian writings as a propaganda tool, meaning Egypt was essentially run by Enki's side. Enki, Thoth, Marduk, the following pharaohs, and maybe they were like, Ninurta attacked the pyramids. We're not going to write about him in our mythologies. We're going to leave him out. Just an idea.
You're absolutely right. Or, I mean, I don't know, he would be known as one of the archangels. So just to not place him there at all. I was reading this chapter in this Anunnaki Chronicle book, man, and some fascinating stuff, actually. He actually talks about Marduk a bunch in this book. So I think there's a lot of answers in here, or what you could use to find answers. I don't think anybody has the answer exactly, but so Ninurta. Wow. There's a lot of pages on him, bro. In Second Pyramid War. Here we go. Oh, wow, dude. This is crazy. Look, it gives a depiction of like,
wow.
I guess that's what Ninurta used.
Wow.
That's him right there.
Archangel with the wingsuit.
Yeah, man. Guys, Adrian is taking a month hiatus. He's taking a month off. He has his business that he has to take care of, and I completely understand, and I support it.
I'm going on vacation to Antarctica, and that's all I can say.
All right, dude. I'd watch you say that too.
I meant the North Pole to see Santa. That's what I actually meant.
Dude, if you find something down there, bring something back for him.
You know it. If I come back the same, I might get like a dose of like an injection of Anunnaki DNA.
I think they're okay, here's one theory I have. I definitely think someone, whether it be Enlil or I don't know, is literally in a mothership that's just stationed in Antarctica in like a hidden part. I went down a rabbit hole this once. Wish I could remember which one. I do this a lot. I think of I'm like, yeah, I heard about this once, and it's something crazy, and then I'm like, oh, I don't know where, and I probably couldn't pull it up. Probably on coast to coast.
I'd be open to it.
But if there's any alien life down there, I mean, then it has to be one of them, in my opinion. And then you have the entrance to Hollow Earth down there as well. So I think you have certain groups of the Anunnaki that live in there. Probably other alien races too, bro. There's Agartha, which you talked about, I think, on a prior episode, and they're from Aldebaran, right? They're the Nordic, what you would consider a Nordic.
Yeah,
alien.
yeah. The ones that were communicating with the Vril.
So, oh yeah, man, the Vril Society, Maria Orsic, and that goes into a lot of occultic stuff, man. I wanted to read this. So the second tablet, one of 13 on which the long poem was inscribed, describes the first battle. Ninurta's upper hand is ascribed to both his godly weapons and a new airship that he built for himself, after his original one had been destroyed in an accident. It was called Imdugud. It's Imdugud. Usually translated divine storm bird, but which literally means that which like heroic storm runs. We know from various texts that its wingspan was about 75 feet. Bro, imagine. I mean, is that like a battlecraft, or is that a suit, a wing? I mean, that's this wingsuit, right?
I believe it's its craft.
Well, I mean, it is saying this right here, I think.
Well, also, this is artwork.
From a book.
Yeah. Now, I also do believe and love to visualize them having their own wingsuits. Like you see depictions of angels, right? But I also think he was a pilot and had his own like master attack craft.
Okay, so it says that Ninurta's principal enemy, leader of the Egyptian deities, the great serpent, in this Sumerian poem that's in here, that's a hymn to Ninurta basically, describes this location of the second pyramid, and it identifies the lead deity as Azag or Ashar.
Osiris.
Yeah. Who Marduk left in charge.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. But it says both well-known epithets for Marduk. But, I mean, his name was Asar, so maybe Ashar is Marduk, and it's translated.
Is that book by Sitchin or about Sitchin's collected writings?
It's his never before published writings, and his daughter basically put it together. But I don't think it's anything she's writing.
Okay.
I think this is his stuff he didn't release.
Right on.
But yeah, he basically was in this winged bird during the Pyramid War. I think that's crazy, bro. I'd love to have a winged bird. Gives all the names for Thoth and Marduk and Enki, Ptah. You know, I don't understand why I can't do that for Ninurta as well.
I'm telling you, man, he got propagandized out of there. That's my theory.
Maybe he wasn't known in that region yet. So yeah, I mean, how do these pyramid wars play out?
Essentially, Marduk survives both of them, is resuscitated and forgiven, but after the final pyramid war, it was almost unanimous that he wasn't allowed to even contend for any rulership of Earth by any means. He had caused way too much trouble and problems and destruction. Everyone was essentially over it.
Was Inanna involved in the second pyramid war? Wow, who's this right here? That's Ishtar?
Yeah.
Inanna, guys. That's how big she was compared to a lion. Wow. That's wild.
Inanna isn't mentioned in my notes too much in this second pyramid war. It's mainly Nergal and Ninurta. Enki and Ninma were involved in some fashion, but 8670 BC. And then the next one is approximately 3100 BC.
Yeah, I was saying how she's a lot bigger than that lion.
Yeah, sure is. During all this time, there's these side plots happening, like the legend of Gilgamesh, the Epic of Gilgamesh, and Enkidu, and them meeting Noah, Utnapishtim, and all that. Like, things are happening in other regions and other parts of the civilized world, while Marduk is still debating and plotting his next moves.
Yeah, because you don't really see Marduk in the Epic of Gilgamesh, I don't think.
Correct.
It's known as something else.
Well, they refer to Utu a lot because they're in the Lebanon region, and Utu had supremacy of that area.
He was the second leader of the Ajiji, who later settled in that region. Yeah, and there and in Syria. And I was going to bring up, bro, pretty sure Syria, the country, stems from Sirius.
Does.
There we go. That's our etymology of the day.
Yeah. After that third and final pyramid war, the Sumerian cities are getting rebuilt. You can go to the records and see some of these Sumerian kings in the Sumerian kings list and reference a lot of these very unique names. Enki had the scandal with Inanna where she stole the MEs, which were essentially all the knowledge that would lead to power and control. It was all these files and these little pieces of data.
I just flipped right to it. It refers to Gilgamesh as a Neteru. That's what they were called. And it does talk about Marduk being angered by Gilgamesh. We can come back to that. Yeah, you start seeing these names later on in the Lost Book of Enki from the Epic of Gilgamesh, like Nisaba and Humbaba.
Yeah.
Yeah. Her chambermaid Ninshubur to Eridu she had dispatched a visit by Inanna to announce. Now, Eridu was the city of Enki.
Yes.
Okay. On this hearing Enki to Izamud, his housemaster, quickly instructions gave. The maiden all alone to my city Eridu her step is directing. When all alone she will arrive, my inner chambers let her enter. Pour for her cold water to freshen her heart, barley cakes with butter give her, sweet wine prepare, the beer vessels to the rim fill up. When Inanna alone the abode of Enki entered, Izamud Enki's commands followed. Then when Enki Inanna greeted, by Inanna's beauty he was overwhelmed. With jewelry was Inanna bedecked, by her thin dress her body she revealed. Wait, so he just started giving her jewelry?
Might have been his way of courting her.
Or does that mean she was covered in jewelry? Sorry. I'm just thinking he starts giving her like gold and shit. I mean, she's a lot younger than him.
She's old enough for Dumuzi. She's old enough for him.
Yeah, if they're old enough for my son, they're old enough for me.
Yeah.
That's definitely his motto. That's one of his many mottos. When she bent down, her vulva by Enki was thoroughly admired. From the wine cups, sweet wine they drank. For beer drinking, a competition they had. So she showed him her. She showed him her pussy, and then they were just like, "All right."
And then they played beer pong.
I'm gonna get drunk. Yeah.
Do you think they played beer pong or flip cup?
He basically immediately starts to beg for these MEs.
Yeah.
Probably begging for other things too, but she says, "Show me the MEs." Inanna to Enki playfully said, "Let me ME in my hand hold." I hate how they said it like that.
It's Yoda knees.
7 times in the course of the competition, Enki to Inanna MEs to hold gave. Wow, so he's already given her 7 MEs. He's passing out these MEs. Is she stripping for him?
I think she's beating him in the drinking games, and it's like that's what they're betting on.
Yeah, they're probably in the nude too.
And yeah.
The divine formulas for lordship and kingship, for priesthood and scribeship, for love, dressing, and for warring, Emmys to Inanna, Enki to hold gave. For music and singing, thanks, Enki. Woodworking and metals and precious stone. 94 Emmys. Jesus, dude. She finessed him out of like $94,000.
And we should explain the significance of this and try to like equate it to a modern day analogy.
Well, do you want to explain what the Emmy is? You probably do way better.
Like, imagine an SD card, right? Everyone knows or should know what an SD card, a little square data memory card that you can, each one of those SD cards, say, holds a terabyte of data, each in a specific subject or science or art craft. Some being how to build roads, buildings, irrigation, some how to build fighter jets. Some
could they just, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Could they put this in something and just like upload stuff to their DNA to make them skilled at things, or to implant knowledge in them?
See, that's what I don't know. I don't know if they could utilize it all permanently without some sort of like an adapter.
Or these like emerald tablets maybe? Or like you were saying, the lapis lazuli?
I think the emerald tablets would have been on one ME, one of the 94.
Definitely. No, definitely. Damn, he gave his son's work up.
That's fucked up, man. Your favorite son writes his like opus, his best book, and you're just like, here and nada. Enki, man, you dog.
All the time, man. Even, like I said, he's her great uncle. So, 94 Emmys that for civilized kingdoms are needed, Enki to Inanna gave. Holding her prizes tightly, here's where she pulls this fourth wave feminism shit. Holding her prizes tightly, Inanna from the slumbering Enki slipped away. To her boat of heaven, she rushed out to soar away her pilot she instructed. When Enki from his slumber by Izamud was awakened, get hold of Inanna to Izamud, he said. When from Izamud that Inanna had already in her boat of heaven departed, Enki heard. To chase Inanna in Enki's skyship, Izamud he instructed. All the Emmys you must retrieve to him, he said. At the approach of Anuki, Izamud, Inanna's boat of heaven, intercepted. To return to Eridu in the wrath of Enki face he made her. But when Inanna back to Eridu was brought, the Emmys with her no more were. To her chambermaid, Ninshubur, she gave them. To the house of Anu and Unuki, Ninshubur took them. In the name of my power, in the name of my father Anu, I command you, the Emmys, to return. So did Enki angrily to Inanna say. In his abode captive he held her. Damn, he straight kidnapped her. When of this Enlil heard, to Eridu to face his brother he came. Oh shit, dude. By right the Emmys have I obtained. Enki himself in my hand placed them. By right the Emmys have I obtained. Enki himself in my hand placed them. So did Inanna to Enlil say. The truth of that Enki meekly admitted. He was like, yeah, I gave her. Fucking walk of shame.
He was like, she beat me in blackjack fair and square.
When the time term of Kishi shall be completed, to Anuki kingship shall pass, so did Enlil declare. When Marduk all this did hear, greatly he was enraged. His anger no bounds knew. Enough has my humiliation been. To his father Enki Marduk shouted. A sacred city of his own in the Eden from Enlil he forthwith demanded. Oh shit, Adrian, here we go. I didn't even know we were going to get into this. When Enlil to Marduk's appeal no heed paid, Marduk fate in his own hands grasped. To a place that for Anu's arrival before Inuki was selected was considered. Nabu, the Ajiji and their offspring from their dispersal land summoned. For Marduk therein a sacred city, a place for skyships to establish. When his followers at the place assembled stones to build with, they found not. Marduk how to make bricks and burn them by fire to serve as stone, to them he showed. Therewith the tower whose head the heavens can reach, they were building. Is this the Tower of Babel, dude?
Has to be. Has to be, man.
Dude, so Marduk instructed the Israelites that maybe they were different tribes, but they were all in all Talmudic Jews. From what I understand, Marduk, an unpermitted gateway to heaven, is building. To earthlings he is entrusting. Basically, Enlil found out about this Tower of Babel and got pissed. It says, from their sky ships, havoc upon the rising tower, fire and brimstones they rain. This aligns with the Tower of Babel, right? When it destroyed eventually?
Yes.
What happened in the Bible? Fire and brimstone? Same thing that happened to Sodom and Gomorrah. They straight glassed it. In the land of the two Narrows, the second region under Marduk's lordship was established. What's the land of the two Narrows? The lands along the Nile. So is this still in Egypt?
That would make sense, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. In the annals of the first region, Magan, land of the cascading river, it was called. But by the second region's people, when languages were confounded. There we go. So it was a Tower of Babel.
Right on.
So wherever he was, I think he had to move after it was destroyed, right?
Yeah.
Man, I'm seeing more and more similarities and you know, with other texts, and it's getting deep, bro. And it says 650 Earth years was at that time the count.
Is that after Anu changed the timetables?
Yeah. Has to be. Neteru, guardian watchers, the Anunnaki were there in the new language called. Bro, that's what Credo Mutwa talks about. This is that book that I'm still reading, Zulu Shaman. So after I'm done reading it, man, I'll have a lot more to probably talk about, because I think these deities may have stayed in this region for a long time, and obviously their offspring would later rule and be worshipped in all these African tribes, correct? I mean, I'm sure Benson talks about that, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd love to get into that sometime, bro.
We mentioned Credo.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Marduk as Ra, the Bright One, was worshipped. Enki as Ptah, the Developer, was venerated. Ningajita as Tahuti, the Divine Measurer, was recalled. To erase his memory, Ra on the stone lion, his image with that of his son Asar, he replaced. So Marduk just wiped his brother's face off. It was like, no, my son. Like,
yes.
Wow.
Yeah, everything was personal for him and symbolic. So statues, the Sphinx, paintings, art, sculpture, it was his era.
Yeah, and I think this is when Inanna gets her and her brother get the Indus Valley. And it talks about Enmerkur.
It's Utu's grandson.
Okay.
She chooses him to design a city, Uruk.
Okay. And then his son was Banda.
Yeah. His son with Inanna's Lugal Banda.
Lugal Banda. Yeah, and yeah, that's all in the Epic of Gilgamesh.
While you were reading those passages, I believe the Pyramid War happens before the Inanna Enki ME scandal.
Yes.
And then the regions are divided up.
I wish I knew what Ninurta was called in Egypt.
Dude, that's going to keep you up like for a week.
Yeah.
Or Ninurta was the god of war, and what else? Montu? Yo! In ancient Egyptian mythology, the primary god of war was Montu, also spelled Mont, which makes me think of Michael, the archangel, depicted as a falcon-headed man, often wearing a headdress with 2 plumes and a solar disk.
And Ninurta wears the eagle.
Now, what did Mont...
mask.
Now, why have I never heard of this cat?
See if you can pull up a picture of him, dude.
Oh, hell yeah.
And
Bro, that's him. Montu Michael.
I was confused. I thought that one of the Pyramid Wars was with Thoth.
Well, he wasn't a direct target or attacker. He was more a aid and protector of Marduk from dying.
I thought that he had tried to kill Thoth, and that's why he went to South America.
He went to South America because Marduk wouldn't give up his aspirations for ruling Egypt, and finally Enki was a part of the decision making, but it was also kind of a collective understood agreement that Zeta or Thoth should go explore and colonize this new land. If they had a battle, re-enlighten me. There's no major mythological or historical accounts that describe a battle between Thoth and Marduk.
Probably a while ago. I heard it from Billy Carson, I'm sure. Pretty sure that's where I heard it.
I think I know what you're talking about. I mean, we know Thoth had advanced weapons technology, like a ray of vibration. I found a photo of your boy Montu. I'm so pumped up that we found our current solution to this riddle.
Is this not Horus? This looks just like Horus.
Man, you know what? That's Montu.
I just remember this staff, this harpoon, and
oh man, you know what? No, so you know what the difference is?
what? The head.
Yep.
You're right.
But they both, other than that, they're almost identical.
So your research on, or what you had sent me on Baal Zebul, did you see any connections to Marduk?
Well, he had some negative associations as a foreign god, became associated with the false god and idolatry. That's kind of the Marduk energy, the false god of Nibiru, the Lord, not being the one true God. The Prince of Demons, I mean, if they're trying to demonize him, maybe you call him the Prince of Demons.
Yeah, we talked about Marduk being known as Bel, but I didn't know if I translated to something later, because you have Beelzebub.
In 2316, Marduk and Nabu returned to Babylon. This is in the Sichan Chronicles, and they're out campaigning all over the lands, and Inanna is still seeking revenge. It's just constant attacks that she launches on him and his son. It seems like they can never get a break, but they're also kind of egging this on, or antagonizing it, or manifesting it by their bold tactics and aggressive ways. So it's a weird balance. And also during this time, you'll see these biblical figures start to pop up. Terah, Haran, Abraham, Nahor, names you'll find in the Bible. Their storylines begin. And in 2113 BC, Ninurta builds Sumer to an even higher status and more developed sophistication as a city. And I don't know if it happened in this exact year, but it does seem to be across the board corroborated that Ninurta is predominantly the god who introduced the monetary financial system into Sumer, and which made it a debt-based society more than like a merit or production-based society.
Right.
So, yeah, they controlled. It was the new way to control the populace who was not only multiplying in numbers, but getting out of hand and unpredictable and starting to worship the enemy.
Yeah, dude. I remember you talking about him creating the monetary system. Nanar Sin. This is the moon god, son of Enlil, I believe the middle son, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And father of Ishtar and Utu Shamash, married to a daughter of Enki. This is where the word sin comes from. Because in the Bible, you have like the valley of sin and all this stuff, and you think they're just talking about bad deeds, your wrongs against God. They're talking about this guy.
Yeah, he's the root of the word for sure.
That people don't know where the root of that word comes from.
I guess this one of the central themes, like we spoke about earlier, is the gods, specifically on the Enlil side, are constantly wondering, what do we do with Marduk? And so for thousands of years, they couldn't figure it out. And now it's like, should we use nukes? That's a real thing that they're debating. And the weapons of terror, the forbidden weapons, are now brought back to discussion in the secret Pantheon meetings.
And those are the ones that they hid when they first came to Earth.
Right. Way back in the Elelu days. Yes. Full circle, bro. And so in Marduk Part 3, we'll go more into those early chapters of Genesis and maybe go passage by passage about the wars of kings and some of those names next to the Sumerian saga or the Sumerian interpretation of it, and then explain just how impactful that incident was, because it's not just Sodom and Gomorrah. There's this whole like after story of the destruction and the lamentations and the survivors and the non-survivors and all that. So that's Marduk Part 3 is a full episode.
Oh, for sure, man. Dude, I mean, we've come to the conclusion basically that Marduk today being worshipped as Baal. From the research that we've done and going from Bel to, I mean, I'm sure he's worshipped by many names. I think it's very important that people know this is a main adversary in our world today.
You want to know something else related to current events?
What?
There's a football player on the Detroit Lions whose first name is Amon-Ra. Can't make it up, man. Maybe they're trying to pay homage, but what bothers me is when you Google it, now he's the first thing that pops up.
I mean, dude, if you can't look into these deities, I mean, I don't know. I just feel like there is a lot of misinformation out there, or just the worship of the one Satan. You feel me?
Yeah.
Because we know there's many Satans, and all of them are being worshipped in many various ways, and many different cults and secret orders. Oh, this is cool. Look.
Nice. Oh, nice.
Yeah, dude. So what do you think about what happened this past weekend?
How much time do you have?
You could talk for about 10 minutes or so if you want. You know, just to wrap it up on current. You mentioned current events. I was like, speaking of current events, what about this attempted assassination?
I'm going to try to find something original to say, because I've been consuming a lot of coverage, and it's like some of these keywords are, you know, epic failure and protocol, standard operating procedure. Now I'm hearing some weird things. Like there's so many layers. Like
there's a lot of weird theories, man, that the kid who did it was in this BlackRock presentation video from 2 years ago. Stuff like that. Maybe Trump had a razor and cut his ear. It was a blood pellet, and they're just doing this like. It's funny. I was like three days before the RNC, right? Or there's been people commenting like, I don't know, man. I don't know if you notice the Antichrist connotations and everything, or the references to him being the Antichrist.
Mm-hmm.
With the wound to the head and
Oh, I haven't seen that part. The new references.
well, in the book of Revelations, it talks about he'll suffer a head wound. And this will make people follow after him more or something. I'd have to read it again, but man, there's just a lot of theories with that, bro. I just didn't know what you thought of it. Now you have people like there was a chick sitting behind them who videotaped it and like didn't jump or anything, and then you got the poor guy that died. Yeah, it's like if it was a false flag, you have altercations or whatever. Like people lose their lives over this shit. Look at 9/11.
Yeah,
right? I don't know what to think, man, but it's just weird.
What I want to know is how the assassin gets through security with a rangefinder. Like, did he come through with a ladder, or was the ladder already there? I heard he bought a ladder that morning, but there was another ladder, and then everyone's saying that there was a ladder attached to the building. But then I also heard he got up by jumping on top of an air conditioner and hoisting himself up. I also heard he encountered cops up there at least twice. One time the cop fell off the roof is one story I heard.
Well, yeah, and then the Secret Service basically like waited to respond. You heard about that?
Right.
They got orders to not fire or something on the target or whatever. And it's just like, was it set up by the deep state, or was it a right-wing psyop? Like, you don't know, man. Or was it genuine? The guy has 3 names to his name.
And his last name's Crooks? Crooks? Can you...
It's 3 names.
So my only thing with the 3 name thing is when it's an assassin or serial killer, you don't want to immortalize someone with 2 names where there might be a lot of people with that name. So you're going to throw that middle name in there just to make him unique as possible,
so people remember him. I mean, you have Mark David Chapman. You have
John Wilkes Booth, Lee Harvey Oswald.
You have Lee Harvey Oswald. You have the guy who killed Martin Luther King. This guy, dude, it is, and more than that. There's way more than that. You see it a lot. So yeah, man, I just want to ask what you think about that.
I'm glad you brought up that current event thing, because if you look at the notes, assassinations have been happening since the beginning of time, and attempted ones too, and it's still going on. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's like, yeah.
Think about it, they're happening on Nibiru before people even came to Earth.
You're right, dude. Anu's grandfather.
I mean, this is part of it's part of like the day one story. It's just people killing each other for power.
And then wrestling each other naked.
Yeah.
As a duel.
Biting off manhoods, man. Come on.
Biting off their manhood. Oh, man. Yeah, I always have fun with you, even when it's at the sun.
We got to get one in the morning.
Yeah, no, they definitely do. We have like a fresh mind. Haven't been in the sun all day.
We're affected by the Black Knight satellite messing up our Wi-Fi signals.
Definitely, dude. I mean, we did lose 20 minutes.
Yeah.
At the beginning. So, you gonna let everyone know where to find you, man, so we can get out of here? I know it's late where you are, and I gotta go in here and hang out.
AdrianWestHQ.com, AdrianWestHQ on Instagram, Pantheon.series on Instagram. Thank you for listening. Thank you for keeping an open mind. Jules is the man.
Thank you, man.
Study Marduk, but don't be like him.
Yeah, learn from his mistakes. That's what I've always said, man. These archetypes of these ancient beings. Guys, y'all go follow Adrian and hit us up if y'all have any questions about anything.
I respond to all DMs.
Me too. So, Greypilledpodcast, Greypilled_podcast on Instagram, Greypilledpod on Twitter. I'm on YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, Bitchute, Apple Podcasts. Starting a Patreon soon, like a $1 Patreon. Be cool. Guys, Schizo News Network every Saturday, 8 o'clock Pacific, 10 o'clock Central. Got a couple episodes with Thomas the Paranoid American coming up. One with me, him, and Tommy Truthful. I believe we're just going to get in and just talk about stuff. Probably occult symbolism and whatnot. And then me, Thomas, and Ani Osaru are doing one on John Todd this next month. I'm going to have Jose Gallus on come on my show to talk about OKC bombing. But we'll have some sound scientists coming this next month too. And I'll have some ELOHIM etymologies dropping, probably a couple by myself or with someone else if Adrian can't make it. Like I said, he has to take some time off, and that's okay, man. That's okay. Just did a Grey Pill. Grey Pills are going to be coming every week, like I've been promising. So yeah, y'all go to oddfellows.brand.com, support Cody. Go to paranoidamerican.com and support Thomas. And y'all go to Organite.com, like I said. That's the state of Oregon-I, promo code GP for 10% off your Organite purchase. Yeah, man. Adrian, until next time, brother. Keep it real. You too, man. Well, y'all stay Grey-pilled, and I will see y'all later. Bye.
Spread the word with propaganda packs, all for just $40 shipped at paranoidamerican.com.
Propaganda packs. We got facts on these sticker slaps. So grab yourself a stack and go attack. What these paranoid propaganda packs?
These huge all-weather slaps will last in public for years to come. Remind citizens that birds are not real. Self-immolation is an option, and might make you magnetic. Do your part and get a propaganda pack today from paranoidamerican.com.
Paranoid propaganda packs. We got facts on these sticker slaps. So grab yourself a stack and go attack. Like these paranoid propaganda packs.
What are you waiting for? Go to paranoidamerican.com right now and get a paranoid propaganda pack.
Ready for a cosmic conspiracy about Stanley Kubrick, moon landings, and the CIA? Go visit nasacomic.com.
NASAcomic.com. CIA's made this call. Stanley Kubrick with this song while we're singing this song. Out NASAcomic.com. Go visit NASAcomic.com. Go visit NASAcomic.com. Yeah, go visit NASAcomic.com. NASAcomic.com. CIA's biggest con. Stanley Kubrick with a song. That's why we're singing this song. About NASAcomic.com. Go visit NASAcomic.com. Go visit NASAcomic.com. Yeah, go visit NASAcomic.com.
Never a Straight Answer is a 40-page comic about Stanley Kubrick directing the Apollo space missions.
Yeah, go visit NASAcomic.com.
This is the perfect read for comic, Kubrick, or conspiracy fans of all ages. For more details, visit nasacomic.com.
See,
Welcome to the Grey-Pilled
I'm
Podcast.
slightly autistic. I mean, I'm fucking awkward, you know? I know I'm not, like the brightest bulb in the shed. I'm find you a good one, fellas, because they're all getting either, taken away by other men or taken away by Samael.
They called Demiurge Jehovah. Etheric mermaids in your semen. I don't know how I feel about that. Marduk is the scapegoat, as Azazel means the scapegoat.
Wow.
Get the E from the beginning of his name and the L at the end. Put that together, and if you're Saturn deity right there, guys.
Everyone knows about the reptilians and their cavern systems underground that lead to Hollow Earth. And we can talk about that when
Jules knows.
Mr. Hall talks about the teachings of Paracelsus and his many views on the elementals, and I find that fascinating. Create a Patreon with anyone fucking like 99 cents a month. I don't know. Maybe I'll go live if not. I don't give a fuck. I don't really care what people think, so I like it.
You're killing it, Jules, bro.
There's some people that are kind of mad, man.
Okay, well, all right, we're going to take you back out.
Red and black, and that's alchemical. In Freemasonry and in all esoteric mystery schools, the eagle is usually a representation of the original phoenix.
just blew my own mind.
Greypilled's dropping left and right, man.
3-6 Mafia is the sipping on the scissor, right? They were bringing the hydrocodone
on the hands-free phone.
On the hands-free phone, yeah.
It's the Greypilledpodcast, dropping jewels with Jews on the Greypilledpodcast. Time to school all these fools on the Greypilledpodcast.
Welcome to the Greypilled Podcast.
Gather round, all you mystery seekers. We're diving deep into the dark, exploring realms beyond what's known, where the secrets of the shadows leave their mark. Come take a ride on the Greypilled Express, where esoteric knowledge is our guest. From conspiracies to cryptids, we unveil the veil. Mysticism and the occult, our forbidden tale.